Dr. Lisa Burkhart Worley along with Lane Jordan Burdett, and welcome to Pop Talk, the show where you never know what topics might pop up. Are you a pickleball player? Do you know that there are over 20 million pickleball players in this country, and that the sport of pickleball has grown over 300% in the last 3 years? Pickleball has rocketed in popularity. So if you're a pickleball player, you may be happy to know that we're going to be speaking with an author who is using pickleball to inspire others. Lane has the introduction.
Thank you, Lisa. I am thrilled to introduce our friend Jackie Freeman. We met Jackie through the Advanced Writers and Speakers Association, and she is a joy to be around. Jackie is a storyteller, an educator, a speaker, and author. And she has written several devotional books. One is Keep a Song in Your Heart, and two other devotionals, A Journal for a Joyful Heart, and Unwrapping Christmas, a 4-week Advent devotional. She has even written a couple of children's picture books. One is I'm Okay, Mama, and the other is Bend Your Knees, Louise. But today we will be speaking about Jackie's latest book for adults, and it's called Pickleball Parables, Inspiration on and Off the Court 31-Day Devotional. Welcome to Pop Talk, Jackie. Now, pickleball is a relatively new sport. How did you first start playing it?
Well, Lisa and Lane, thank you for this invitation. I have to say that pickleball came into my life as a widow. I was looking for something new to do. After 40 years of marriage, I had done everything as a couple. And I was introduced to a pickleball paddle and a new group of people. And it was such a joy. It was energy, it was exciting. And so that's where I was introduced to the sport following my husband's death.
I would really love to play pickleball. We have pickleball courts in our neighborhood. They just built them not too long ago, and I drive by them every day, and I have this kind of a longing thing because I'm an athlete, former athlete, but I used to play tennis and I was just a mess, on the tennis court. I hurt my back, I hurt my calves, I tore both my calf muscles, that kind of stuff. So I haven't done pickleball yet, but can you share how the game works? Is it similar to tennis?
Well, it is similar to tennis. It's a combination of badminton, tennis, and ping pong. Your court is smaller than a tennis court. It's 44 by 20 in size. So imagine a basketball court. End to end, you can put 3 pickleball courts in a basketball court. So that gives you a size. And there are certain rules and procedures. Now, some people often ask, how did it ever come up with that name, pickleball? Well, it was in 1968 in the state of Washington that a family began to play. Of course, when I do a speaking engagement with young kids, I often say, were you ever told to go outside and play? Well, that's what these kids were told to do. And they discovered a ball and played and hit. But the dog's name was Pickle, and he kept chasing the ball. And legend has it that's how it became pickleball, one of the legends. So I'm claiming that one. So it is a fun game, and I love that all ages can play. Lane, alluded to that funny title, Bend Your Knees, Louise. That's a pickleball primer. That was the first book I wrote, and it was written in rhyme for a younger audience, but really who I intended to write that for, my avatar, was someone who didn't know what pickleball was, like me, and they wouldn't be intimidated by picking up a paddle and trying something new. I'm an encourager by heart, so that's kind of where pickleball is in my life today.
I love that you explained how pickleball came to existence. I thought maybe everybody was eating pickles or something. I don't know, but this is probably what our listeners are wanting to know, and me also. But what inspired you to write a devotional with a pickleball theme? Because and it could be because I wanted to pick it up immediately and look at it. I love the title.
Well, that's a good question. I was asked because most of my writing is faith-based, my blog writing or article writing in magazines and my books. But someone said, why haven't you combined the two things that you love most, your faith and your love of pickleball? And so as I wrote that book, you'll find it interesting as you read the intro where I say in the book, Lord, where is faith in pickleball? And I think what it is, the goal is God is say he has patiently showed me that he is present in every aspect of my life, and that this devotion is a testament to God's faithfulness, revealing your love and grace meet us wherever we go, on and off the court, and may each reader discover your hand at work in their lives, one point at a time. So it was taking a sports analogy and creating a way to say, yeah, that my faith is a lot like this. Yes.
That's so good. Paul used a lot of sports analogies in the Bible, so somebody did it before you, but I think I love sports, and so I've actually probably used a few myself. Maybe not pickleball, but football or basketball or something along those lines. Now, let's talk about some of these lessons that you learned from playing pickleball, some of the spiritual lessons. So, you start the devotion off with a message about the ready position in pickleball, but also in life. Can you explain why it's important to always be ready?
As in most sports, there is a ready position, no matter what it is. Pickleball, it is where your knees are slightly bent, the paddle is up, and your eyes are focused. Um, and I wanted the reader initially to know, as I said yes to pickleball and found that ready position, I wanted to encourage my readers to see, have they said yes to Jesus? Have they gotten their hearts ready to say yes, that they don't have to have it all figured out, but that they know John 3:16. So it was important to me, any sports person picking this up, for them to know what I want everyone to know, the gospel.
Oh, amen. And I love, if we have to get ready for a sport, let's get ready for what Christ has to share with us. And I'm like Lisa, I've been playing tennis since I was 12, and competitively all through my 20s, 30s, and 40s and 50s. I had to just stop. Like 3 years ago, I tore my rotator cuff, but I'm thinking maybe it's getting better and I can get back out there. I don't know. They say age is what makes that happen. But I love that one of your early devotions in the book is about serving God right where you are. And I remember people telling me in sermons also when I was raising children, you're serving God when you change a diaper, and you're serving God when you're cleaning up the dishes after a dinner you've cooked. And I love how you put that in your devotional. Now, God may not call us to lead a ministry or always be in the front, right? Can you show us the relationship between pickleball and serving?
Another good question, Lane. The I think the devotion you're referring to is serving up light, reflecting Christ on and off the court. I like to think of the last question in that devotion, kind of says it all for me. It says, does your actions inspire others to see the light of Christ like a moth to a light? Are we like that light that a moth is drawn to, not to our own glory, but are we the light of Christ? And so that's where it doesn't have to be anything large, a crowd of thousands, one, or as you said, changing a diaper, a grocery store, had my oil changed today. Did those men and women see the light of Christ and how I responded to them?
I love that because I'm trying to do better myself, Jackie. I'm like I said, I want to be a better neighbor, and I've actually made friends with the neighbor across the street, and I'm really happy about that. We're actually supposed to go shopping tomorrow together, and I mean it's just fun. And I want to be, I don't want to be in such a hurry at the grocery store, right? That I cannot be kind and sweet and smile at people. And the grocery store can be, I don't know if Lane, well, she probably talks to everybody in the grocery store, but it can be a little irritating to me sometimes, especially when, Kids have no concept of space, and so they'll be just wandering around the middle of the lane, and people are always like coming out. Anyway, I just want to be more patient with people and children, and just be that light of Christ, like you're talking about. I'm very good at time management, though, to a fault. I often pack more things into the day than I should, but it is important to live with intention and purpose. And you have a devotional about this, don't you, Jackie? Please tie it into pickleball.
You girls are just perfect interviewing this. I love that you have read this book. You are pulling out things. And as I said before we hit record, this is either going to be a wonderfully fun interview or I'm going to be on the hot seat, sweating out every question that you pose to me. But I'm loving this. I have to say that particular devotion, Perfect Your Serve, living with purpose and intention. Often, as I learned this sport, my serves were just like all over the place. And you girls have tennis background. And I had been coached by putting a hula hoop across the net, saying, aim for that, Jackie. Aim for that. If you don't aim for something, you'll hit nothing every time, as the saying goes. And so I realized I needed to do that. Well, I need to be that intentional with my walk with the Lord. People need to see it wherever I'm at. And so my busyness that like you, Lisa, I can get very, very involved in that check off of my to-do list. And did I get it all right? But I think I'm learning I need to do everything on that list according to God's strength and will in my life, not what I think I need to get accomplished in a day.
I love how you stated that, Jackie, that we have to live for Christ and we have to put him first. And if we overdo our life, are we underdoing our time with the Lord? And that's what I have to check with myself. Now, when you play any sport, whether it's basketball, tennis, or pickleball, as you and I know, you have to stay alert and keep your eye on the ball, or you could get in trouble. In fact, my husband and I used to play doubles. And really, the only thing I would ever say, he says, "Oh, I'm not playing good." I say, "Honey, just keep your eye on the ball." And when you do that, you really do play better. So you have a devotion called Anticipation, Staying Spiritually Alert. Would you like to discuss why it is important to stay alert in both pickleball and, of course, life?
Elaine, I am of an age, I'm a woman of a certain age, I guess they might call me, that I graduated before Title IX, and there were no girls' sports. I had to learn, I had sideline cheer or band. And so learning a sport at my age, it was all Greek to me. And so as I learned those basics, and as you said, keep your eye on the ball, stay alert, it was easy to correlate that to 1 Peter 5:8, where we are told, be alert and sober minded. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. And I think our faith walk needs to be just as intentionally in, in walking so that we anticipate when things are going well, look out. Satan is around the corner. When things aren't going so well, look out. Satan is right around the corner, or maybe right in front of you. But I think that's so important that we need to stay alert and we need to face the challenges that we encounter in life through God's strength and not our own.
I love Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through him who gives me strength, Jesus. And so that is like I would say that's my life verse because I've had to overcome a lot. And so that is where I go. And that's really something that took me through sports. It's like, okay, I can get back in that game even though I've sprained my thumb. I'm going to go get back in the basketball game. I actually had that happen one time. She goes, "Well, you can just sit out or you can go back in." And I was like, all right, I'll go back in. But
Right.
sometimes it doesn't go perfectly when we play sports. Everyone makes mistakes and We can beat ourselves up because of those mistakes. I can't tell you how many times I did that, whatever sport I was playing. And I did the competitive tennis was league tennis that I did for 10 years. And one of the things that you do in league tennis, sometimes you play doubles and you really hate to let your partner down because of a double fault or maybe you missed a sure winner. I had a friend who her partner looked at her. She's played at a high level, like a 4.0 level, 4.5, and her partner, when she missed a ball, just kind of, she was younger, she kind of looked at her like that, and that was when she quit. She goes, you know what? I'm not going to deal with that. That's, I want to either play at this high level or not. And so she quit tennis, and I was like, wow, I can't believe it. That was her life. But you have a devotion called Grace for the Shots We Miss, Embracing Forgiveness. Can you share about that concept?
Well, Lisa, I am one that can give grace to others, and I can forgive others that do things that are wrong, and I can do that. But I am of a nature that I struggle to give myself grace or my self forgiveness. As you mentioned, in the sport of pickleball or any sport, we want to keep our eye on the ball, but sometimes we beat ourselves up because we missed that shot, and you'll miss the game because you can't get your head out of that one shot. Well, the same is in our faith walk. How many times have I wanted to do a redo of anything, thinking I could have said that better, I could have presented the gospel better or clearer there. I've had those moments in life, but God is so gracious in his forgiveness and grace towards me and us that I am learning at this age and through this health issue that I've just passed through. I've learned to let go. I've learned to release. In fact, my word of the year for 2026 is release. Uh, it is not just giving up, it is simply acknowledging what is mine to do and what is it that God's calling me to do. And when I feel like I haven't done it quite right, well, I need to say, Lord, it's your grace. Help me give that same grace to myself so that I can still proceed in ministry for you. I don't know if that answers your question, but for me, that is what grace at this stage in life is exactly where I'm at
Oh,
in
Jackie,
needing.
it answers it perfectly because I can't tell you, it just ministered to me because I will look at something that happened in my past and I can spend more time upset about that than focusing on all the blessings God has given me today. And so you're right. We need to give ourselves grace. I don't know why it's so hard because I'm telling my children, I have two daughters, and I'm always saying, y'all are great. You're doing super, and they are. And yet I can't give it to myself. I'm going to work on that. It's probably because I'm extremely competitive. And I
Mhm.
know Lisa was
Nah.
really Lisa was really an athlete. No, you were really an athlete because she played basketball, in college. But I'm so competitive, and with my work, like, oh, I've got to do another book. I've got to do it. No, I don't. No, I need to do what God calls me to do. But I just want to ask you this question. Sports, of course, can bring out the best and the worst of us. And as I just mentioned, when a person's competitive like I am, you can you can get upset. So, I love your devotion about this one called Serving Up Light, Reflecting Christ on and off the court. How can we shine his light on the court and, in fact, wherever we go?
As I mentioned in the intro to this devotional, uh, we are to walk on and off everywhere we go, proclaiming the gospel and showing the light that Jesus has provided for us by dying on that cross and rising again. I mean, God's graciousness to give his son for that. Our church is doing this a Bible study in Acts, and I have to say we're doing this one chapter a day of the entire Bible, but we're focusing in Acts. And I have to say that sometimes we think if I'm not busy, I'm not doing. And I think we need to realize that there are many times, if we simply look at the 3 years that Jesus walked on earth in his ministry, there were times that we don't hear of anything said that he did. Maybe walked in silence. He was still serving his Father in everything he did. And that's what we're called to do, to serve big, small, and realize we may never see the rewards or acknowledgments or see God's answers in those moments. It's not ours to know. I've often come to the point of with my children, I'll say, perhaps when they're adults and you want them to know the Lord, I'll say, I hope someday come to know the Lord as well, if not better than I do. Oh, it'll be so exciting. I mean, that's rather than berating someone, we're simply encouraging them, saying, I hope someday you find the joy of the Lord that I do.
And we can pray for them, which is super important. You've
Yep.
shared a lot of great life lessons that you've learned from playing pickleball. I'm just going to share this one life lesson I learned from a tennis tournament. I was in the finals, and we were so close to winning it, but the lady across in the doubles team across for the court from us had been through a cancer journey, and we knew that because of, she had a head wrap on. And but that intimidated us so much, and we didn't we didn't want to beat her. We just felt guilty if we had won that match. And so we lost, and she played her heart out and she beat us really soundly. And so I don't know if that's a life lesson. I guess maybe we should have given her the win, but then maybe like don't let that impact you. But what was your favorite life lesson, maybe the most important one in your book that you could pick out?
Well, Lisa, that's like asking me which one of my sons is my favorite. So for this moment, I'll tell you. I think perhaps the power of the follow through, faithfully finishing strong. And you girls know that I have recently had a health crisis. And in some ways, it's been pickleball that's been a lifeline for me. It was a sport, yes. But when I think about what it taught me, I have come to claim, and you mentioned what your life verse is. My life verse has become Acts 20:24. But my life to me is worth nothing to me unless I use it to finish the work assigned me by the Lord Jesus, telling others the good news about the wonderful grace of God. And I'll tell you, that's if I do nothing more than that, but to tell others, as Peter and John say in Acts 4:20, we can't stop talking about what we've seen and heard. That's what our ministry is, whether it's on the court or off the court. And that for me is what this book represents. I ended it with the story in the during COVID when we had the basketball tournament played. ESPN, a gentleman who was a referee, Scott Foster, he put a net and paddles on a court. Soon you saw these prime basketball athletes playing pickleball. You saw referees playing pickleball. I thought if he took his love of a sport and took it out onto a foreign field basketball area, we need to do the same thing with our love and knowledge of Jesus Christ.
We are ambassadors for Christ. I remember when I was working in public relations, I did television for many years, but then I was a manager in public relations. And I used to pray that the Lord would bring me women who I could influence and who I could perhaps lead to the Lord. And we have two today who are Christians because of those relationships that were developed at a workplace. And so, I mean, you can't sit there and talk about Jesus all the time. And that's not the state of the world today, but you can find ways to do it, and you can take them to lunch or whatever. Just be a light. They're going to notice something different about us. Thank you, Jackie. This is so exciting to share about your fun devotional on Pop Talk, and And I love Pickleball Parables. I think what a great idea you came up with. And it's true. These things like sports can really provide spiritual lessons. So the book again is Pickleball Parables, Inspiration on and Off the Court, 31-day devotional. You can find it and all of Jackie's books on Amazon, or you can navigate to Jackie's website, which is JackieFreemanAuthor.com. And let's spell Jackie. It's Jackie Freeman, Freeman, author.com.
Thank you, Lisa. And we hope that you will reach out to us here at Pearls of Promise Ministries. You can email us at info@pearlsofpromiseministries.com. You can find us on social media at Facebook and Instagram. Our Instagram address is @pop_ministries. We're on X at Pop Talk Media and at Pearls of Promise. And all our past Pop Talk programs and award-winning documentaries are on our YouTube channel. And you can find us at Pearls of Promise Ministries.
So that is Pop Talk for today. We're just ordinary girls
who God turned into pearls. Have a great week.